I'm Luca. My handle on Slack is Luca, so it's like easy, no fancy name. So it's easy to find me there. And today I'm talking about new FWS services and specifically about retrievability. So the talk I'm gonna give is about our view about retrievability and Filecoin. Why this is important for us? Because like enabling reliable and incentivized retrievability for Filecoin data, which means like data stored and proved on Filecoin, is crucial for Filecoin long-term success. And a lot of work has been done so far, but there is still a gap as current retrieval tools do not really check or guarantee data availability of specifically Filecoin data. So we want to move on in three phases. First, we want to introduce like reputation, then payments, and then assurance mechanism for retrieval. And we want to build on existing infrastructure, and specifically Spark, IPNI, FWS, and other services like Lumen, which are out there. In principle, we want to lay the foundation of new services around storage assurance and data delivery. And the good thing of all of this is like everything, we envision everything to be integrated in FWS, enabling new revenue streams and new services that can integrate into existing operations. So I said that our vision basically builds on three phases. Phase one is a reputation system service. So we aim to build a reputation system service, which for the first time is basically on the data that is specifically stored and proven on Filecoin. We envision this project, this first phase, to build on Spark Checker Network, and we envision the result to be a score for SP, which is based on actual retrievability of data, which are proven on Filecoin like every day, and not just infrastructure in place, which is still a huge step forward, and some sort of like small data representation, as it can be like a payload CID that we are checking actually today. Retrieval jobs needs to be randomly sampled from IPNI, and we envision these jobs to be almost like 1 megabyte big in order not to clog bandwidth. We would have, like similarly to what Spark does today, retrieval nodes testing retrieval from SPs, and the outcome of these checks would impact on SP's reputation. What would be the outcome of this first phase? So we would have like a functional reputation system for SP, which would be based on actual data checks for data that are proven on Filecoin. And it's not going to be, let's say, a representation check and an infrastructure setup check. SP would be then incentivized to store and serve Filecoin data in an encoded format, because if they don't do so, there is no way for them to pass the retrievability checks. And we would get this kind of root-only storage attack that Spark already identified, and would be like a great improvement on the status quo. So phase two is actually split in two sub-phases. Phase 2A, which is really related to what Arch was actually demoing a few minutes ago, which is retrieval payments. So in order for retrieval to be the rational option, in order for serving retrieval to be the rational options for SP, we need some sort of like payment for that. So we want to use payments protocol for retrieval services. And in this realm, we see two pathways. The first one is including retrieval SLA in the storage services to guarantee the bare minimum service quality. And this is perfectly matchable with what Arch was saying. And the second pathway is having a separate retrieval service for use cases where the retrieval client is not actually the storage client, which is something that can happen in real life scenarios. In this way, we think that we can encourage rational SP behavior with direct incentives. So serving retrieval would be the rational solution rather than not serving them. Client would pay SP via FWS payment, and in this way we would minimize the risk on both sides, both for SP and for clients, to avoid abuse of the protocol, meaning like SP not serving the data or clients not paying for the data served. In essence, we would be enabling a market-driven incentivized retrieval. The outcome would be a payment system fully integrated with FWS that would pay for retrieval services, retrieval becoming a rational activity for SPs, and clients gaining reliable and incentivized access to their data. Phase 2B instead would be a retrieval checker service. This is something that could sound really related to the reputation system that we addressed in phase 1, but this is slightly different, and I'm explaining to you why. So, as I said, for reputation systems, we need the retrieval jobs to be sampled at random, and this is needed in order to prevent misusage of that tool. Indeed, if we allow checker network to pick the retrieval jobs that they want, a malicious SP could impersonate a checker network and ask himself, let's say, always the same small piece of data checks and boost his reputation. In order to mitigate this risk, we need these reputation checks to be random, but this is basically opens the door to a gap where basically clients cannot really trigger retrieval checks on specific data. While instead, what we want to propose is like having clients to be able to trigger retrieval checks on specific data of their choice. Checker nodes validate the accessibility of that data, and having the outcome of that checker service being some additional data for the client, but not for the reputation service, for the reason that I just said. Like in that way, the reputation service would be gameable. But what we would gain would be having a custom SLA and auditability for clients and have useful tools for on-ramps that are maybe storing user data in shared PDP proof set or sectors, and each of those having different SLAs negotiated with the client, with the data owners themselves. So the outcome would be a new feature and a new service on top of the reputation system powered by the payments. In this way, client can request on-demand data checks and can monitor their own SLA at their own in the way they want. We can support granular control and periodic audits for specific data, and we actually differentiate service levels in shared storage environment. In a word, we would decouple auditability from generic reputation system. Phase 3 is actually the most ambitious one, which is basically the phase that would close the retrievability guarantee loop and would be having a retrievability assurance service. So up to this stage, we are building a data checker, a retrievability checker service and a reputation score service, but we are not really, having the data in the hands of the client with like rational guarantees. What we would be adding to the first two phases would be having data serving nodes, CDNs basically, so that clients can receive data directly after the validation. And this way would basically protect clients against selective malicious SP behavior. So basically SP cannot, let's say, answer only to like checker nodes, but they and then avoiding serving retrievals, but they would be like be forced to serve retrievals to the nodes that then will go back to the end users. This would give like a full assurance model for the mission critical Filecoin use cases, and we think that this is like the long-term goal that we should all aim for. Of course, this is like the most complex one, and that's why it's like the last phase of the project. So in this way, we would have a full retrievability assurance protocol implemented. Clients would receive their data directly in their hands from the serving nodes, and there cannot be any, selective answer behavior by DSP. We have basically an end-to-end assurance for Filecoin data consumers. So let me wrap up a bit. What are we proposing? We are proposing a modular architecture for retrieval services that builds on reputation, payments, retrieval checks, and assurance. It builds on Filecoin existing foundation, which are basically Sparks, IPNI, FWS, and others. SPs would be scored, paid, and monitored on actual data availability and performances, meaning on the real data stored on Filecoin. Like checks would actually touch the data themselves. We would like meet, let's say, the dream of having a decentralized storage network with the retrievability assurance in place, and each of those services could be monetized through FWS, through the FWS service path. Clients would have rational and provable assurance that their data can be retrieved, and Filecoin would be once and for all reliable, scalable, and ready for real-world demand. So here is like the call to action. We need people to build with us. For phase one, we registered Spark's interest in building with us. It's like really great for them and for us as well to be collaborating together and improve the status quo. But we need you to join us in shaping the future of Filecoin and Filecoin retrievability through FWS. So if you want to collaborate with us, help define and deliver new FWS integrated service, reach out on Phil FWS or Phil Retrievability or personally to me on Slack. Thank you.